equations. And right now what I'd like you to do is I want you to solve for x. I want to see what you remember from last week and see if you remember anything. So right now you should be on the first slide, solving for x. As I graded your assignments that you turned in on Friday, what I noticed a lot of you doing is, especially when x was on the right-hand side, which is the next problem, you made several mistakes. Today you're going to need to focus because what I noticed on homework is your dots, your points on your graphs were wrong and the arrow direction was wrong. So what you need to do today is make sure, Hannah, that you make sure you ask questions, you listen, you focus, make sure you're paying attention. Otherwise, you're gonna snooze today and you're definitely going to lose because you're gonna have no idea what's going on. I'm not telling you that this is an easy task or an easy topic, okay? But you're gonna have to realize that what I expect of you is that you do participate, you do stay engaged because otherwise, if I lose you, it's gonna be hard for you to perform on your homework, okay? So the first thing is I boxed my variable. You know, I started boxing my variable.
Mr. Ball needs a one-step inequalities with adding subtracting two of them. And he said it's something like 3-6.
Yeah, they're right here. Sure. So today you're going to notice, you know, back when we started equations and I told you to box the variable term, today's the day that it's going to make a difference. Okay, I know that some of you did not do the boxing, you got away from it because you didn't really need to do it, but today you're going to notice why I wanted you to box back in equations. It's actually going to have a lot more purpose today, all right? Now, with solving for x, I hope all of you agree, we're going to get rid of the positive 2, so x is all by itself. Everyone good so far? Everyone with me? Okay, so here, we're going to bring that down. We're going to bring our inequality symbol down, and x is greater than or equal to -6. Now, what do you guys remember about the graphs? Anybody remember anything about what my requirement, Emma? Go ahead.
That it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to is a closed dot.
Okay, so if you haven't done so already, you might want to write these at the top of your paper because there's two different types of graphs that inequality will produce. There's an open and a closed. So she's telling us when the equal sign, well, half the equal sign, right, is there, is going to stay a closed situation. And Delaney, what's the open?
That's when there's no line under.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, let's go to the graph. So once you get to the graph, I require how many numbers? 3. There's no need more. More is just going to confuse the heck out of you. All right? Let's not do that. Keep it simple. I don't want to complicate things. So with this, where would I put -6, Emma? In the middle. And you're going to put one number less, which is the left, hence less and left have the same. Okay? And then obviously one number greater than -6 is -5. And there is no shame to look at my number line to double check up above my, my place value chart in the back of the room. There's no shame in looking at that, just to make sure you got it right. Because if you don't have the numbers right on here, your arrows will never go in the right direction. All right? They'll never go in the right direction because we're not pointing at the right number. Okay? Especially, I'm talking about when we're in the negative. You guys agree all 3 numbers are in the negative? That's where I see the most, the ordering is not the right. So make sure, focus, make sure you got that right. So now, can someone share with us, is this an open or closed? Renee? Closed dot. Now, what was my suggestion last week to determine which way our arrow goes? Anybody remember what I asked?
Teachers and students, sorry for the interruption. If we have any 8th graders who have not brought their paperwork to Hananiga, please bring that in now at this time over to the team area. So again, any 8th graders who have Hananiga papers, please bring those to the team area. Thank you.
How do you determine which way the arrow goes? Francis? Nope. Ethan?
The less than or greater than, and what side the x is on. Like, if it's greater than, or it's x is greater than, it'll go left. Oh, wait.
All right, let's go back to what I said last week. You have a number to the left of -6. You have a number to the right of -6. What I told you is to plug both of those numbers in where x is. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug -7 into where x is. Then you're going to plug in -5 here. Which one of these makes this true? Darian.
-5.
Which direction is -5? Excuse me. Gotta fix my number line now. Okay. Which direction is -5 from -6? Darian?
Right.
To the right. Isn't -5 to the right of -6? Which means that any number to the right of -6 is greater than that number. Do you agree with that? So the arrow will go in the right direction. Does that help some of us determine? Is that a little bit better? Huh? Okay. Your arrows were going out. I was like, what in the world? Who taught you last week? I must have not taken my crazy pills. All right, or they wore off by 8th hour. Apologize. So, as you guys look at this one, if you notice the x is on the left-hand side. Do the next slide. And now the x is on the right-hand side. Remember, find your x. Get your x by itself. Careful, hey. Where's your x? You want the x by itself. Flip the flop, flop the flip is next. All right, because my x is on the right-hand side, I want to get x by itself. The only other term that's with the x, you guys agree, is -12 or -12. So did you get rid of this term here?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I think that's probably the first battle. Making sure that you know where the x is and what side you have to concentrate on. All right? So there's that. So we got this taken care of. We got 3 is greater than x. So I'm going to have 2, 3, 4. Now, I want you guys to look up here. All eyes on me. But I'm Tupac for a second, okay? All right. Now, you can read this inequality answer 2 different ways. Any inequality, 2 different ways. You can read it 3 is greater than x, or, that's left to right. Now we're going to go to Asia. We're going to read right to left. Ready? X is less than 3. So, you can actually rewrite it like this. Because you notice, see how this the little point is pointing to the x? Isn't that the same case over here?
I have this POV since I don't know how to turn it.
In the in bin, and I'm teaching. Give it to Mr. Bolin, and he can give it all that stuff to me, okay? Or no, put it in the bin. You're here already, man. Check you later, PG.
Alright.
All right. Now, do you guys understand that you don't have to rewrite it? Because aren't you plugging this in or this in to see which one makes it true? It still works. It doesn't matter. All right? You don't have to change the order of anything. Because what determines the arrow sign is when you plug one of these numbers inside where X is, one of them is going to make it true. Watch. First of all, open or close dot? Open dot this time. So now, is 3 greater than 2 or is 3 greater than 4? Which one? 2 wins in this one. Watch this. Is 2 less than 3 or is 4 less than 3? Which one makes it true? Do you see how it doesn't matter which way you write it? 2 is still the winner on both. Light bulb. I hopefully some light bulb. I wish I had one of those little apps that I could just like, oh good, light bulb. You know, like one of those aha moments. Okay, some of you wear it on your face, and some of you just like have the poker face going on. You know. All right. So 2 wins. What direction is 2? To the left. Remember, if you write, the only reason why a lot of students prefer writing it this way is if X is less than 3, which means all numbers less L, left L. LL Cool J, hosting the Grammys this Sunday. Okay? So, heads up. Less than. Left. Going to the left. Or you can pretend you're Beyonce. To the left, to the left. You go. All right. All right, now, we're going to flip the flop, flop the flip. You ready?
Yeah.
As long as you don't flip me off. No birdies flying around in here, okay? All right? All right? All right. Keep it clean. Keeping it PG. He just left, but, you know, we're going to keep it PG in here. All right. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to box the variable term in this one, and I want you to box the term in this one. And right now I want you to ask yourself, look inside each of the boxes, what is the only difference? Nathan. Dang. Okay, was that hard? That's how easy this is. Can you box the variable term?
Yeah.
Can you determine if it's negative or not?
Yeah.
Wow, that's what's going to determine if we flip it or not. Now, watch. In the one that's negative, let's focus on the one that's negative. Okay? What operation would we have to use to get A by itself? Because think about what operation this is, and what is the inverse of that? Francis? Division. What would we divide by? Delaney, this is -3 times A. How do you get rid of multiplication? Okay, she's back with the program, guys. She's still in the game. All right. She's not riding the pine, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we're going to divide, but what are we going to divide by, Ethan?
Divide by 3.
No. Yeah? Tell them I'll call back. Okay?
Not -3.
All right, it is -3, because remember, they have to be identical. Now watch. If you divide by -3, now hang on, hold the phone. Something happens to this sign. Because isn't this, hang on, let's go back here. If you multiply or divide by a negative, do you guys agree when we multiply by a negative times 5, it changes to its opposite? If we multiply, think about this, what's the opposite of less than? What's the opposite of less than or equal to? So when you might see this, like I made it big. Do you see that space between your slides? You might want to write this down. This is what's going to impact, because guys, look at the 2 operations, multiply or divide. You guys agree that's our last 2 operations that we haven't covered yet in inequalities. So that's obviously why I have to separate them. So if you multiply or divide, which we're doing right there, by a negative number, or we divide by a negative number, we're going to have to flip the flop the inequality. let you write that down and I'll wait. Hang on, wait. Pause a moment. So multiply or divide by a negative number. You must flip the inequality symbol. Because if you don't, I'm going to prove to you right now, you're going to get the graph wrong. It's going to produce the wrong graph. Okay, and I'll prove that in just a second. So hold your pants on. All right, so what happens here is this is less than. What's the opposite of less than? So you see how the symbol flips around. That's all it does. It flips. It's a less than, now it's greater than. So now, negative 3 divided by negative 3, isn't that 1? And that's what we want. We want 1a. So we're going to bring our a down. And what's 6 divided by negative 3? Negative 2. And remember, this is a flip. Whoa. Hang on. All right. We want to make sure you circle the flip. And do we have to flip this one? Does it follow that rule? No. So we're going to have a no flip here. So now let's graph this real quick. Can someone share with us, is it open or closed? Open. And remember, does negative 3 or negative 1 make this true? Is negative 3 greater than negative 2 or is negative 1 greater than negative 2? Negative 1. So negative 1 is in what direction? To the right. So we're going to head there. Okay? Now watch. Let's look up here. Alex, you looking up here? I need you to look up here. Do you guys agree that if I forgot to flip the sign, this would be less than? Correct? And the arrow would go to the left, correct? I'm going to plug in negative 3 and prove to you why the arrow had to change sign or change directions. Let's do this. Negative 3 times a, so what's negative 3 times negative 3?
I mean 9.
9.
8.
9. Is 9 less than 6? That's why you had to flip the direction. Let's try negative 1. What's negative 3 times negative 1? 3. Is 3 less than 6? This is true, which means that all the numbers to the right make it true, and that's why you have to flip the sign around. Otherwise, your graphs are pointing to the wrong solutions, which means your graph is wrong. And your solutions are all wrong. So that's why when you multiply or divide by that negative number, you have to flip the inequality symbol. Otherwise, your arrow is pointing in the wrong direction. Do we have to flip on that one? Do we need to solve it then? Let's go to this one. Box your variable term. Flip or no flip? Raise your hand if you know the first one. Are we going to flip or no flip? Remember, look inside the box. If you have a negative number inside the box, you're going to flip. So are we flipping?
Yes.
Look inside the box.
And then somebody said no.
Look inside the box.
I did.
Look inside the box. Negative 4. Everyone, open your eyes. Okay,
I knew it.
we're flipping.
Somebody said
How about
no.
this one? You see any negative numbers inside the box?
No.
Then no flipperoo. Remember, these are division problems, so what are we going to do to both sides to get rid of division? Multiply. Yeah, all right. So, let's go to this one. Box the variable term. Before you even start the problem, I want you to determine if you flip or no flip. Are we flipping? No. So now, just pretend this is a two-step equation. What would you do first? Mr. Gates? Get rid of 14. How do you get rid of 14, guys? Subtract 14 or put a negative 14 on each side. So we got 6x is less than or equal to what? What?
18.
Thank you. Now look at what operations left. What's your instinct? What operation are we going to use now to get x by itself? Division. So what are we going to divide by? 6. We bring our inequality symbol. No flipperoo. Same. No funky flipping. Okay. What's 18 divided by 6? Graph it. Open or close? Is 2 or 4? Which one makes this true? Which one makes this true? 2? What direction is 2 from 3? To the left. Try the next one. Actually, skip that one. Go to this one. Oh, simmer down there, Tonto. Box your variable term. Whoops. So, are we flipping or no flipping?
Yes.
Period. Flip. As long as you don't flip, you don't flip me off. I like to say flipping, you know. Like, that's how you get away with it, right? No birdies. I used to say, no birdies flying in the classroom. Then you get in a car and it's a whole new story. What?
Wouldn't that be 0? Because
Hold on there, Tonto.
Oh, I didn't know
We
we
need
were
to
gonna
get this
solve
by
it.
itself first. So how do you get c divided by negative
so
4?
like
How do you get this by itself first?
add 15 and then
Okay, so add 15. Hang on. Eleni's got her panties in a rumple. All right. So we don't flip yet. We don't flip. You don't flip until you multiply. Because are we multiplying when we add? No. This is 0. So now, how do you get c by itself? How do you get rid of division? You multiply. What do we have to multiply by? -4. So we're going to multiply over here by -4. Now, because we multiplied by a negative number, doesn't that fit our little rule I have on the board back there? So we have to flip. So what is the opposite of less than or equal to? Greater than or equal to. So flipperoo there. What's -4 times 0?
0.
And these 4's cancel, and now you have C. What are the 2 ways you could read this? Want to practice? Somebody wants to share this? How would you read that? Delaney, go.
0 is greater than or equal to C, or C is less than or equal to 0.
And again, if you want to, you can rewrite it this way. Remember, look at the big opening still pointing to 0. Is the big opening still pointing to 0? Okay, so either way, it's the same thing. Now your graph. Open or closed? Closed. And which one makes it true? -1 or 1? -1, so to the left. Now, if you look at the last slide, you guys remember box your variable term. So what are you going to box? -n/3. What did I tell you if you have a situation like that? Where could you move the negative? To the bottom. So move it to the bottom. Just make the negative a positive and change it to the bottom. So this is what you're going to do for homework. You ready? You're going to finish the 2 slides on your notes for homework. Additional to 5 problems on the study guide side of the worksheet I'm going to hand out. Okay? So you're going to finish just the 2 problems on the back. Is that cool? 2 slides here. So you're going to have those 2 slides when you come into class done. And you're going to have 5 problems on a piece of loose leaf paper. Keep your comments to yourself. Or the peanut gallery, you don't need any comments. Okay? So I'm going to hand out a study guide. It looks like this. Some of you have extras on your, and you're not doing the practice side. There's just 5 problems on the study guide side right down here. You're just going to do those 5. Try them. These are completion grade. This is the first day you've done multi-step, correct? 2-step problems. All right? I'm not going to dare take an accuracy grade. You're flipping things. Remember, determine if you're going to flip or not. I put an F or an NF. Flip or no flip, because you don't have these little things on every single problem, except the notes ones. But that's what kids used to do. They used to box the variable term and put F's by all the ones they needed to flip. Or they actually circled your inequality when they needed to flip it. So it's up to you. There's one. I'll get you the rest here.
Mine.
So here's the first 5. Yep, pass. Here's. Make sure that you hand in your bell work if you did not hand it in last week.
Thanks, Dave. You're too kind. Such a great person.
You guys see the 5 problem on the study guide side? It only has 5 on it. The side that only has 5 problems.
The side that only has 5 problems.
Correct.
I think you got no idea. Hey.
Maybe alright?
Oh, we're doing steering contest?
Make you
Good.
rich.
No, it's volleyball. They made it for
Ready, jump. You do the first one. Other gun.
So you're doing like some burpees and some push-ups or something, you know?
Are we doing
That really
steering
hurts my wrist.
But I'm good with all this.
Well, Hannah, we might wanna check on our. You got vertigo, or you got, or you did wear slippery shoes?
I have things to do.
In my driveway, with shorts on.